Hi guys, welcome back to GP Reactions. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a great day, and as always, thanks to everybody that's subscribed. I really do appreciate those extra subscribers, as I haven't really been reacting very consistently just lately. So I'm going to be revisiting an old track that it's not one that I listen to or have listened to a lot, but I think I know this track when I hear it. So rather than go for like maybe an official video, I'm going to have a look at them live on the tube, something that I've never actually seen. So this should be really, really interesting. So this is The Jam, and the track is A Town Called Malice. It's taken from the album The Gift, and A Town Called Malice was entered the UK Top 40 on the 13th of February 1982. And okay, so it did actually reach number one. So I would probably put money on the fact on knowing what this track is. I get certain Jam tracks mixed up with each other. So when I'm thinking about this track, for some reason I'm thinking about going underground. So maybe there's a similarities in a tempo or something. So anyway. Well, actually, I'm just reading that this actually entered the UK Top 40 at number one, so that's amazing. Don't know how long it was at number one for, but that's really, really cool. So anyway, yeah, this is Jam with A Town Called Malice, and written by Paul Weller, and this is The Tube.
Let's together please for A Town Called Malice. Quiet life, cause it's the one we'll never know. And quit running for the runaway bus, cause those rosy days are few. Stop apologizing for things you've never done. I need help, life is cold, it's up to us to change. It's time don't matter. Of disused milkers and dying in the dairy yards, and 100 lonely housewives that shelter milk falls to their hearts, hanging out their own love letters on the line to dry, enough to make you stop believing. Stop fast and furious and attack on malice. Ooh yeah.
This has got such an incredible energy. This track has. I completely forgot about the energy, and yeah, I can see why I got confused with going underground. But as soon as I heard the first few chords, I recognised it instantly. And of course, being number one, I would have had to have lived on a different planet not to recognise this track. So, but I'm really, really loving it. It's got this kind of gritty sense of reality to the first verse. I've just got lyrics up in front of me. I just wanted to better stop dreaming of a quiet life, because it's the one we'll never know. It's almost like a reality check. I don't really want to go into lyrics just yet, but I feel that with a lot of Jam songs, there's always a political overtone. It's 1982. They're living through the Thatcher era, the government, conservative government. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of political undercurrents in the lyrics of this track.
Struggle after struggle, year after year, the atmosphere's a vibrant of ice. I'm on my stone cold dead in a time of malice. Trees believe in Sunday's roast beef. It gets dashed against the co-op. I got down there on it is to get the big decision in a time of malice. Ooh yeah. train echoes down my track. Set the moment out for nowhere, just going round and round. Turn out kids and creeping trees, lost laughter in the breeze. Out and I probably will, but I'm gonna put the joy back in this town called Malice. Yeah, this town called Malice. Yeah, yeah, this town called Malice. Hey, ooh, ooh, yeah. Thank you.
That was great. That was a jam town called Malice, and the thing I love about that song was just the pure energy and driving force of that track. His vocal delivery always sounds like he's having an argument of some kind, always trying to convince you of something. But I really, really enjoy that. I do actually also like Paul Weller's quieter stuff that he's done solo. And yeah, there's a couple of tracks actually from the jam that vaguely I remember as being quite really gentle and showing what a lovely voice he has really got. But I do love his statement kind of music too. So I mean, for anyone to know, the jam consisted of Rick Buckler on drums and Bruce Foxton on bass as well. Yeah, I want to jump straight into lyrics because the energy of his song, as I said, is the real kind of driving force. The keyboards were great, actually. I'm not sure who was playing keys here on stage, but that kind of stands out because it feels very... It brings a lightness to the message as well, rather than just the guitars and the bass and the drums. The keys actually sort of, I don't know, like it feels like it raises the spirit of a message. So the lyrics: better stop dreaming of a quiet life because it's the one we'll never know, and quit running for the runaway bus because those rosy days are gone, a few, and stop apologising for the things you've never done because time is short and life is cruel, but it's up to us to change this town called Malice. It feels very like quite a positive message, a shot to, I suppose, a shot to the, I don't know if the foot or something, but it jolts you out of the apathy and the stupor that you may be in, and it says you've got better things to do, but time is not on your side, and if you want to do those things, you need to start doing them now. You're stuck in a rut and maybe in a rat race. Don't look at things through rose-tinted spectacles. Become more awake and aware of the world you're in. And once you're awake and aware of the world you're in, you'll know more about where you want to be, I'm guessing. Rows and rows of disused milk floats stand dying in a dairy yard, and 100 lonely housewives clutch empty milk bottles to their hearts. That's such a fantastic line. I'm not sure how relevant this is to politics or history. Hanging out their old love letters on the line to dry, it's enough to make you stop believing when tears come fast and furious. It's a town called Malice. I mean, it does feel, that verse does feel like it's about shutting down industries, and we think of industries as steel, ships, coal, but there are other industries as well that may have been in decline or may have been squeezed out by big supermarkets, and I'm guessing that things like milk deliveries are one of those things. I remember as a kid having milk deliveries, but I can't. I've seen a milk float probably once in the last 20 years. Struggle after struggle, year after year, the atmosphere's a fine blend of ice. It's almost stone cold dead. It's a town called Malice. Yeah, it just feels like when industries die, the heart and soul of a town dies with it sometimes, and because so many people are tied up with those industries, that you know, and I'm guessing the atmosphere is a fine blend of ice. I think taking out literally at times of a year, we feel the pinch more than others, especially in winter, with fuel costs and stuff like that. And winter's a dark, bleak time anyway. And if you're on a dole, or you're hard up, or you've lost your job after 25 years, then it's a really sort of grim time to be living through. At least with summer, we can see the birth of things, the birth of new leaves on trees and stuff like that, and life feels a little bit more hopeful in a way, even though probably in reality it's not. And that takes you back to the first verse. A whole street's belief in Sunday's roast beef gets dashed against a co-op to either cut down on beer or the kids' new gear. It's a big decision in a town called Malice. Yeah, this feels like it's we're entering the boys from the black stuff kind of area where it's like poverty in the early 80s. I'm guessing where you have to make decisions. Right now we're about to go through the same thing, might be even worse than the early 80s. I'm sort of really braced myself for that, although I can to a certain degree remember I had friends who were living through this. I was quite fortunate. I came from a middle class family, and my dad had a really good job, so I didn't it didn't impact me as much. Having said that, my dad was, I probably look back and now and think that my dad was tight, but I think he was probably tying the purse strings quite tight as well as to spending and the like. I don't remember necessarily going on any nice holidays in a couple of years, which it sounds ridiculous when you got people talking about whether to feed their family or heat their homes. But that was back then. That was my circumstances. That was my reality. But I can appreciate now, looking back, that the reality was completely different for people. And like I said, watching the Boys from Black stuff, you realise just how desperate things were. If anybody's never seen the Boys from the Black stuff, just watch it, and that'll be. It ties in a lot of the feeling of those times. Not only were we under the shadow of a nuclear war, but nobody had, times were really grim, politically, socially, and for a lot of people financially. The ghost of a steam train echoes down the track. It's at the moment bound for nowhere, just going round and round. Playground kids and creaking swings, lost laughter in the breeze. I could go on for hours, and I probably will, but I'd sooner put some joy back in this town called Malice. So yeah, I mean, there is like a glimpse of hope there when he said, "I could go on for hours. I probably will, but I'd sooner put some joy back." So he's narrating an experience of life in his town, but he's saying, look, we can go on forever and ever and ever talking about how bad things are, how bad things were, and how bad things could get, but ultimately we need to put some spirit back into this town, and through spirit becomes determination and hope, and we can get the world moving again, and through that we can maybe create the town that we really want, based on a lot of different industries rather than one industry that, when it goes down a pan, it brings the whole place down with it. And I think, and this is life. This is how us human beings are. We from the pits of desperation, we find something to drag us back up, some glimmer of hope, maybe a word of wisdom from a complete stranger, and sometimes that's what it takes for us to be those people again and be that community again. Guys, this was a fantastic record. I'm really, really glad I revisited this. And it was great to actually see it on the Tube. Didn't watch an awful lot of the Tube back in 82, 83, 84. I wasn't a huge fan of watching it. It was on. I occasionally caught it. My brother watched it a lot more than I did. Channel 4 was the new thing in 82. So this must have been very, very early on in its conception. Yeah, so really, really powerful, energetic performance there by the three guys, and I hope you enjoyed this. And I really, really enjoyed this. So yeah, please join me again soon. And also, you know, if you have any feelings about this song, join me in the comments below. So have a great week. Have a great day.